Hello everyone and welcome to another week of reflections coming from the manse. Well, things are beginning to make a move towards lockdown being eased, and I'm quite sure over the next few weeks things will continue to move apace. And in a very short time I think we'll be looking back on this weird, strange time that we had under lockdown. It's been a time that will be remembered for many years to come. 2020 will be a year that will go down in history in relation to COVID-19 and also the effect that it's had on national economies, but also on the social structure and the well-being or otherwise of the populations that were in lockdown. After lockdown, I'd like us to be looking back thinking, what did we learn during that time? I know many of you can't wait to get back to normal, inverted commas, for a whole load of reasons, personal, financial, family and all the rest of it. For others, there's a little bit of reticence because lockdown has not been like a prison sentence. It's actually been strangely quite good, because we've remembered things that we'd forgotten, we've reflected on things, we've had time for ourselves, time to think, time for some people to learn a new skill, whether it's a language or playing an instrument or goodness knows what, but time also to just be gentle on ourselves. Maybe we didn't realise that life had been stressful up until lockdown because we were just getting on with it. And then it's just been a breath of fresh air, having time to yourself to in a sense calm down a little bit and to tune into other things. Now I'm sure you would agree, lots of good things have come out of this. We've heard some amazing stories. I think life has been quieter. It's certainly been simpler in so many ways. It's been kinder and many other things. I want to reflect on some of that this week so that we don't lose that as things start to go back to what we call normal, although I think some of us have realised that there was a lot about normality that wasn't that great. So are we going to take lessons that we've learned during this lockdown into the greater freedoms that we enjoy? So today I want to think of it along the lines of life has been quieter. Has that allowed us space to tune into who we are, to spend some time with God, to think about our faith? Not in any grand, big way, but just in small ways. Because soon the quietness is going to go. Traffic will start to come back onto the streets, even in the cities and the towns. It will get noisier and noisier. And where we are here in the Highlands, of course, with visitors, as they slowly come back, the noise levels will go up and there'll be more hustle and bustle. When that happens, will we take time to make room for God? Or will we be back to doing things? You see, life is often about being and doing, but we can get caught up in the doing part. That we're just all day, we're busy doing this, that and the other thing. And not only are we surrounded by a lot of noise, in inverted commas, but even in our heads, there's a volcano of thoughts going round and round and round, and emotions and feelings. And we're caught up in a great flow. A bit like at the Falls of Dochart, when you look down from the bridge, you just see all the turbulent water. Sometimes our lives can be like that, but even our minds can be like that because we've got so many things going on. I've enjoyed these last weeks of lockdown trying to find time just to be still. Not necessarily to pray, because that prayer, when we think of prayer, we tend to think of words. So you're concentrating and you're trying to have a conversation with God, but just to be still and to actually not stop the noise in my head, because you can't do that. But it's the old thing about meditation, that you focus on what your thoughts are, you spot them, you identify what you're thinking about, and slowly you become an observer of these things. And as you do that, you can become still and calm. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Let's take that text with us out once lockdown is released and we start to get back to old ways. Maybe we remember that text. Be still and know that I am God. So that we try and capture moments when we can just be still. It doesn't have to be for a long time. It can just be for 5 minutes. You've got a cup of coffee in your hand. And I know for some of you that's going to be difficult, the thought of coming back to church and not having a mug of coffee because you're used to watching it, the service on a Sunday at home, or indeed watching these reflections at home. But get a cup of coffee, sit by the window on your own, and just have a quiet moment. Be conscious of your thoughts and be conscious of God's presence with you. Psalm 46:10, "Be still and know that I am God." And even if your prayer is not in words, it can be a little moment of refreshment where you're surrounded by the grace of God and you get your batteries recharged without even knowing it. And in that little slot, that little moment, a God moment in your day, you encounter Him and are given the grace to make the most of that day. These moments have been special during these last weeks and months. Let's not lose them in the busyness of the future. Continue to have these moments. Continue to remind yourself that God says, "Be still and know that I am God." Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.